Hello and welcome. My name is Blessing Moses and this is The Whole Scope. The Whole Scope is a program that talks about the plight, the challenges and the cries of the original inhabitants of FCT. Here we try to provide solutions to some of these issues. Today on the program we're going to be talking to Mr. Solomon Danjuma, who is going to be talking about the statelessness of FCT. As we all know, Abuja is the federal capital city of Nigeria, and we have some indigenous people who have been living in FCT. We have the Koro, we have the Gana, we have the Bagi, we have the Basa, we have the Bari, and so on and so forth. On this issue, we are inviting Mr. Solomon Danjuma, aka MC Daria, to talk more on this. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Blessing. It's good to be here this afternoon.
My first question will be for you to tell us what is statelessness and how it has affected the original inhabitants of FCT.
Well, if you ask me what is statelessness, I will tell you in my simple term that statelessness is what is best defined as the plight of the indigenous people of FCT, where they feel less as Nigerians. Whenever you talk about Nigeria and its composition, you will say Nigeria has 36 states and the FCT. And the FCT meaning FCT is not a state. And this problem emanates from the 1999 Constitution, that is section 299, where you have the if condition that the FCT should be treated as if it were a state in Nigeria. This alone has made FCT a state, have put FCT in a stateless situation, where the 36 states are there having all their political rights, and FCT is being marginalized, not given a state. If FCT was to be a state, you will not say 36 states and the FCT. So that if condition have placed FCT in a stateless condition. A stateless condition in the sense that most of the rights and privileges enjoyed by other states, FCT does not have it. Talking about the governor who is the chief executive officer of a state, FCT do not have such. Talking about the State House of Assembly, FCT does not have the State House of Assembly as other states. Talking about commissioners, FCT do not have all the commissioners as it is in the states.
Can you tell us how this statelessness has affected the original inhabitants of FCT?
It has affected us a lot. First of all, it has made us feel as less Nigerians. In fact, I was so worried when other states held their state election to elect their governors and elect their State House of Assembly. Everywhere in the country, all the 36 states, except the states that had issues with the election and the date differs, but all the states in Nigeria were all having their state governorship election. And FCT, on that day of election, everybody was going about his own activities as if we are not Nigerians. And you know, a governor who is the head of a state, we not having it in FCT has put us in a disadvantaged state. The president of the country, Nigeria, our country, is supposed to be seen as the governor of FCT, but he vested this right and power in the hands of the minister. And the minister is an appointed position, not an elected position. Taking from antecedents, the ministers we've had in the FCT, they were not appointed amongst the FCT indigenous or the residents. These are people that came from different states, people that don't know the problem of FCT, people that have not lived in FCT to know their yearnings and their plight. And when they come as minister, they only stay in the FCT and concentrate their development in the city centers, abandoning the rural areas. It will interest you to know that most of these ministers do not know villages, do not know remote areas. And that's the reason why today you see them only doing roads in the Maitama Aziz, the Gwarimpa Aziz and co. Leaving people that in the remote area, let's say Buari, Abaji, Kuje, Gogoleda and co.
Mr.
Let me drop there.
Okay. I just want to remind you of the question we're asking. First of all, I wanted to talk about the statelessness.
Yes.
And then you said you are at
disadvantage
because the president of the entire federation is supposed to be your governor.
Your governor.
I'm thinking that should be like an advantage since it is the president that is now your governor. You, the FCT indigene, should be at advantage.
Oh, on the contrary, him being the governor, he's not the one that runs the affairs. And that is why he appoints a minister that does that job for him. So the minister of FCT, he is an appointed of the president to discharge the duty that the president is supposed to discharge as of governor. So the minister reports back to the president. And that's the reason why you hear me talk about the minister.
Okay. So, and you said the ministers throughout the terms we've had ministers, they have never been an appointed ministers from the original
inhabitants of FCT. All the ministers that we've had appointed as FCT ministers have been ministers from other states. And as I was talking about the statelessness, because the governor is not, the minister is an appointee, his performance, most of their performance, they underperform. If we had a state today, for instance, and we have a governor who seeks election, he will go around and campaign in the 6 area councils, both in the urban area and the rural areas. Sure. You'll be able to see the challenges, the problem that the people are facing. And we'll make some commitments. If you vote me into this office, I will do this, I will do this, I will attend to this, I will attend to this. By the time he gets to the office, he will have the consciousness that there are some persons I met there with these challenges. That if he did not fulfill his campaign promises, it would have endangered his ambition for second time in office. This will now make him sit up and then concentrate the development evenly distributed in the 6 area council, not like the one that is concentrated in just the city centers. You can see our education in FCT is in a shambles, is a total mess. The persons we call ministers only go around, I will still continue to emphasize, only go around in the city centers. I don't know. When we say FCT, FCT means Abaji, Kuali, Gogoleda, Kuje, Municipal, and Buari Area Council. So if there is development, the development should be spread. You should see the minister doing some roads that link to the rurals. We should see the minister construct major bridges cut across the 6 area councils. We should see funds released for the development of our primary schools. If you go around the FCT, you will see the state of our schools. I'm telling you, worse than some states.
So, Mr. I'm sorry to still cut you, but does it mean a minister is like a stand for your governor in other states?
That is what the president have made it to be.
But we also have like challenges in some of the states and across the nation. That most of the development is just centered in the state's capital. Okay. And I think we have that issue as Nigerians, that most of the development is done just at the state capital, forgetting about the rural areas. So what do you think should be done pertaining these challenges? Because it's not just FCT that just has the development done in the center. It's mostly around the states in Nigeria.
No, if you say that, I will take an exception to that. I will not totally agree with you. In the states, some states have a zoning kind of pattern where this senatorial district produce governor. After 8 years, it goes down to the senatorial districts. Whether we like it or not, political position is an empowerment to the people. So if a particular politician emerged from the south, however they call their zoning, you will discover that at that period, there is some level of development that this politician takes to his place. Take for instance today in Daura. If you visit Daura, you will see Daura have beautiful streets, tar roads. They enjoy this because they have their own son as the president of the federation. So he used the opportunity to develop his own area. So in the states where they elect their governors, governor don't concentrate development in the city centers. He tries as much as possible to touch some of these areas because he will seek re-election again. And that's the reason why some persons, they lose their seats in their bid to contest for second term. And some of them, when election is near, you will see them beginning to do some kind of patch-ups where they have not worked, let's say for 3 years, so the remaining 1 year to run up the lap. You see them touch here, doing a kind of fire brigade work because they know they are going to go back around for campaign. And people will ask them, you did not deliver your campaign promises. So you see them throwing projects here, so that by the time they go around and say, I did this, I did this. But in the sense of the minister, he's not seeking any election. He sits there and do the bidding of Mr. President. And because these are not his people, and he don't see himself as one of them. So associating himself with the plights is difficult. No wonder most of them, when they finish their tenure, they go back to their state to contest for governor and they win. El-Rufai was a former minister of FCT. Yes, he's a governor today. True. Of Kaduna State. Senator Bala Mohammed was a former minister of FCT. He's the governor of Bauchi State. Can go on and go on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Danjuma Solomon, aka MC Daria. This is an interesting conversation we're having. But we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how this statelessness has affected education, has affected health and economy. So we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue from there.
Yes, so Abuja Original Inhabitants Youth Empowerment Organization, AYO, now the youth organization where they for the 858 communities for inside the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Now then they make sure say them do this 2-year program. And this program, now to they talk about the things where be the rights of the original inhabitants for inside FCT. Them know they do them alone, no. Them get the support of MacArthur Foundation. Come join body with the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, Christ said. The reason for this so don't get program now to gather help and to increase the power of original inhabitants for inside Nigerian Federal Capital Territory. For this program, we go to use evidence to give voice and information where they come quick to make sure say Odonge government do something about this Ojoro and Wururu where original inhabitants they face since when governments carry Nigerian capital from Lagos come Abuja. Now Abuja Original Inhabitants Youth Empowerment Organization, AYO, with the help of MacArthur Foundation, come join body with Christhead carry this informate can give una.
Join us every Wednesday by 4 p.m. on Human Rights Radio and Television 101.1 FM and all our social media platforms. The whole scope, justice for the FCTOIs.
Welcome back. And with me in the studio is Mr. Danjuma Solomon, aka MC Daria. Now, the conversation we're having before we went on break was how the statelessness has affected education, health, economy, and so on and so forth. How do you think the statelessness have done that?
Well, the statelessness have affected us, and it has affected us so badly. Because we are not benefiting directly from the government. Even though I know we have the local government area council chairman, but there is little they can do compared to what a governor would do for us. There are projects, capital projects, that the area council does not have resources to embark on such projects. And that is where the governor should step in. Yes, we know that the allocation is coming directly to the area council chairman. Same thing in some states, like Kaduna. So we see where the chairman do their projects and the governor also step in to do his project. First of all, talking about in terms of security, this is Federal Capital Territory. In Federal Capital Territory, there are a lot of kidnappings going on. The issue of insecurity that is first in the Northeast, we are seeing it here. There are kidnappers zone in Bari area council, those houses. The same thing with Kuje, Gogoleda and Kwale houses. People cannot go to their farms. The FCT minister who stands in as a governor has a role to play in this. This has gone beyond the chairman coming into it. Talking about education, the minister should put in more funds into the area council. Give the area council chairman more funds in their location so that it will be able to take care of our education and health facilities. By the time you send allocations, you pay worker salary, before you know the whole money is gone. If the chairman have been doing their works, minister should show us the works he's doing in FCT who stand in as a governor. They should show us the project they've been doing. But if we are having a governor, we walk up to him because probably he's going to be one of our persons, one from us, one who grew from among us, can point it to his face. But this minister, how accessible is he? Even when we protest on some certain things, does he come to address the people? Even if they address the people, the things, the demands the original inhabitants place are the demands met. Even the issue of demolition here and the issue of resettlement, integration. These have been the long agitation of the indigenous people of FCT. But yet, we come and we don't see anything happening. It is expected that by the time we all start this agitation, we are talking about all of these things, and minister receives us. He's supposed to report back to the president, who is the governor of FCT, to swing into action. But all of these things, we are not seeing them happening. So we are at a disadvantaged situation. If we were a state, we will zone our governorship. 8 years for this zone, 8 years for this zone, 8 years for this zone. And the indication is that if this zone have, that is how the Nigerian system works. Every state, every country have its own way it works. Yes, but in Nigeria, we discover that wherever a particular principal officer comes from, you see development in the area. And that's why some states say, let us sit down and zone either chairmanship, let us sit down and zone a senatorial position, let us sit down and zone the governorship. Because it's a pattern that if a governor comes from this place, he will see him developing this particular area. And if shifts to the other region, the other person too have the opportunity of touching that area more. It's not as if he's not going to circulate the project. And with this understanding of this rotational system, you see that development comes to the people. But the minister, to even take a tour around the 6 area councils, see the problem that these people are faced with, we've never seen him. So many children don't know who the minister of FCT is.
Mr. Solomon,
yes.
How do you think the government can address this issue?
Well, this is a constitutional problem, because if it were not contained in the 1999 constitution that said FCT should be treated as if it were a state. So until that particular word "if" is removed and say FCT is a state and it maintains that state status quo, this problem will not be totally removed. But if that particular word "if" is removed and constitutionally FCT is regarded as a state, you start seeing election happening in FCT for electing governor and state house of assembly. And if this is done, FCT will have more political offices. You see FCT having state house of assembly members, And by indication, more local government will be created where you have more local government chairmen. By doing so, the development will spread. It's not like when it's time for chairmanship election, you see 10 people, 15 people vying for one position. This is because there are not available, not many positions in FCT. FCT bigger than Bayelsa, both in landmass and in population. Bayelsa has a governor, have state house of assembly members, has about 6 federal house of reps member, 3 senators. While FCT just have 1 senatorial district, 2 house of reps and 6 area councils.
What are the FCT indeed seeking from the federal?
We are seeking for a second tier of government. Thank you. We are seeking for a second tier of government. In my opinion, I would say, let the municipal be municipal, headed by a mayor. While the remaining territory is given a state status where elections can be conducted. Elect will become your governor, elect your state house of assembly members, increase the area council. So the central, the municipal, which is the central, having all the federal establishments in it, should have an elected mayor who now become the chief administrator, foreseeing the activities, controlling the federal capital. Why they allow other people that in the territory, Abaji, Kwali, Gogoleda, Kuje, Buhari, have their own states. Going by population is up to. Going by landmass is up to, because we've seen landmass bigger than some states. Population also bigger than some states. If this is done, I tell you, most of this agitation that you've seen, I'm going to shoot our swords. But in a situation whereby I keep saying FCT is a no man's land, you bring a minister from somewhere, you install him, and this minister is not representing the interests of the original inhabitant people, it's a failed system. Because in the whole federation, you have people from different states forming member of Federal Executive Council, where is the highest board of decision making, the cabinet of the president of the country. But FCT is exempt, is excluded. So when people are sending complaints, when people are giving, what will I say, giving problems, facing their people, FCT, nobody is talking for the FCT. We are not saying the FCT minister must be someone from FCT, must be a native, original inhabitant, but let someone from FCT be also a member of the Federal Executive Council. FEC.
Okay. So now you said you want a separation of the state and the federal level.
And we have made several efforts to that. They just concluded a constitutional amendment review that took place all over in the country. Zone by zone. The North Central held her own. In Mina and Jos, we were there. We did our presentation. We gave the things, the sections that we want the lawmakers to review. We've been participating in all of these things. Even when, during Goodluck Jonathan, there was confab that was held to see how the constitution can be reviewed, to see how every zone is carried along. All of these demands were there. And even FCT, we have our charter of demand that we have sent to the relevant authorities, we've sent to the minister, we've sent to legislatives, that these are the demands, these are what we want in FCT. So we pray that it passed through. Our legislative too, they did their best in pushing a bill for the appointment of Abuja original inhabitants person as a member of FEC. There was one that passed through the first reading, but it did not get through in the second reading. So I want to use the opportunity now to call on all legislatives now, both in the Senate arm and the National Assembly arm, that please, we are feeling less Nigerians if they continue to vote against our bill. They should consider us as Nigerians also. They should put themselves in our shoe. that if they were the one being marginalized, how will they feel, politically marginalized? So each time this bill comes forth, they should all align and vote for the bill to pass, so that we'll also enjoy political dividends as other states.
Mr. Solomon Danjuma is the coordinator of FCT presidential campaign team for
Labour Party.
Labour Party.
The FCT coordinator, presidential campaign coordinator, yes, FCT, of the coordinator for His Excellency Peter Obi in the just concluded general election.
Okay. Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming,
very much.
sir, and we are happy to have you. And I guess it was really an impactful conversation.
It was.
And we have come to the end of today's episode, and we hope that you have been impacted, you've been informed, and you've been educated. Until next time, my name is Blessed Moses, and this is the Whole Scope. You can follow us on our social media handle at AO on Twitter, at AO Network on Facebook and Instagram. Ciao.